In this video, I will be analysing some of the best camera shots that I've seen throughout the crime genre and all other genres. This is research into camera shots which have revolutionised camera work and explore unique combinations in the process, which can really influence me because although I might not take direct inspiration from the particular camera shot, I can still combine two camera shots and also create my own camera shots in the same process, which I think is so important because looking at how other camera shots are used and also how the lighting, the music and also the characters used in the shots are so important and so good for when you want to create such a cinematic piece like I do when I come to film my trailer.
Commission sent 2 lawyers down to review our files. So I set them up in our conference room and I had it bugged and the air conditioning turned up so high that it felt like Antarctica in there.
Is it always as cold in here?
I don't know. Then, while they were looking for a smoking gun in that room, I was gonna fire off a bazooka in here, offering up our latest IPO.
An IPO is an initial public offering. It's the first time a stock is offered for sale to the general population. Now, as the firm taking the company public, we set the initial sales price, then sold those shares right back to our friends. Look, I know you're not following what I'm saying anyway, right? That's okay, that doesn't matter. The real question is this: was all this legal? Absolutely fucking not. But we were making more money than we knew what to do with.
This shot has used the Steadicam mechanism following Jordan Belfort for the officers at Stratton Oakmont when 2 lawyers are sent in to check through the suspicious files. Throughout the 51 seconds, Belfort talks through his plan as it takes place, and you go from room to room as if you're in his corrupt, fraudulent workplace. The shot wouldn't be as good if it didn't have Belfort talking over the footage, as when Belfort directly talks to the camera, it's almost as if he's letting the audience in on his plan, and the workers take you through the journey of the plan happening all the time throughout the clip. It starts off as one of his employees with the lawyers, who then hands them the files, then he walks out, the camera follows him before transferring him to Belfort. He then describes what an IPO is before interrupting himself, as he is professional and the ordinary audience wouldn't understand or care what he is saying. He then says, "Was this all legal?" "Absolutely not," and the scene abruptly ends. This shot is so creative that it takes you into the heart of Stratton Oakmont, where all the illegal, fraudulent activities take place. This will be great for my trailer as I want my audience to be directly addressed by one of my main characters. And this clip is a prime example of how it's effective and so memorable, because usually, most tracking shots usually follow behind the characters, but this time it's Jordan Belfort talking direct to the camera as he follows the camera instead of the camera following him. And this is why the shot is so memorable and so unique and so enjoyable.
There was Jimmy and Tommy and me, and there was Anthony Stabile,
How you doing?
Frankie Carbone, and then there was Mo Black's brother, Fat Andy, and his guys, Frankie the Wop, Freddie No Nose, and then there was Pete the Killer, who was Sally Balls' brother, and you had Nicky Eyes,
What's up, guy?
and Mikey Franchese,
That guy, yeah, I want to see him.
and Jimmy Two Times, who got that nickname because he said everything twice, like,
I'm gonna go get the papers, Come on,
lift it up. Vinny, they're gonna be out of style by the time you get this thing going. Come on, lift it up. There you go.
Watch the wall.
Come on, Vinny. What is this, coats? Henry, I need suits, Henry, not coats.
Suits are coming Thursday.
I know, but this is the middle of the fucking summer. What am I going to do with fur coats?
Oh, you know what? First, I'll take the first
No,
one.
no. Take them away. I want them. You know what we do? We'll hang them in the freezer with the meat. How's that?
This shot is brilliant, as the first shot in the scene is from Henry Hill's point of view, but later on in the scene it dissolves into a zero focalised point of view as Henry Hill appears on screen. This creates the effect of interaction between the audience and his colleagues, as they directly address the audience, and Hill tells the audience who each character is and what their nickname is, and then the characters who are the supporting characters then talk to the audience in a different way that you would expect them to talk to Henry Hill and other fellow gangsters. As the shot dissolves into another point of view, it's almost a surprise for the audience as you think that you were in the point of view of Henry Hill, but it turns out that you are just a supporting actor as Henry Hill introduces you to the gangster lifestyle, like many people, like James Conway did for him. The shot is so good because it takes you into the action, immersing you into the era of 1960s, rather than the typical Monday era that most people are used to. The sequence of shots is dissolved, so it flows and you don't see any shape cuts, so it's easy on the eye, and it's completely natural and realistic.
Robinson, apparently tired, punched with a fare thee well and rocked Jake LaMotta right to the heel.
Come on, Ray.
This shot is so simple, with the fight scene between Jake LaMotta and Sugar Ray Robinson being so exciting to the audience. The change of the point of view of both characters using a point of view shot, and more importantly silence, shows how both characters are fully focused and are blocking everyone out. And even though they're both tired, they're so determined, and the silence shows how both characters are similar and both of them have to win. And this is done by a shot reverse shot, as it's a point of view and they go back to each other, so it's either in the point of view of LaMotta to then Robinson, so it's really good. And why I love it is because it creates a disorientated effect, and the use of silence creates a tense feeling when watching it. And you know that the fight's getting serious, and you know that no matter how weak LaMotta is feeling, which you can notice through the shaky camera work and the silence, he will get back up and fight. It fits the scene perfectly as it zooms out as LaMotta looks at Ray. This shows how LaMotta is badly hurt, as his vision is affecting him greatly. And this shows how great a character in distress he is and in need of help, and also how good he is, because obviously he's a very successful boxer towards the end of the film, and it shows how he's sort of gone against all the odds, and it's leaving the viewers worried about what might happen to then show them that he's strong enough to take on Ray. This shot has really influenced my trailer and for my characters, as I want there to be a scene of disorientation and the viewer to wonder whether it's the protagonist or antagonist that you're in the point of view of.
Jesus Christ.
This shot is so good because it's so short and will fit perfectly into my trailer. The audience is unsure who the character is, and it immerses you into the action, as it's almost as if the characters who are laughing at you have a hold over you, and it also shows how the character whose shoes you're in is very in distress and they are surrounded and as hostage as such. One of the main ideas for a mysterious entrance to my trailer was to use a trunk shot. Along with the point of view shots, there's a journey from the black trunk of a car to the middle of nowhere. Students will ask loads of questions on the whereabouts of the characters and what relevance to the plot this has. This shot has given me loads of inspiration for my trailer's opening, not just because of the line point of view from the trunk, but also because of the way the characters interact with the camera, and at the same time with the audience. And most famous directors like Scorsese, and this time Tarantino, have used the connection between the audience and the characters to really make their films successful, and it's shown in the previous clips that I've analysed, and also this clip particularly. And I think that's so good because the interaction between the audience and the characters are so important, because that's how you get a film to be very successful. This shot establishes the setting and location for the upcoming scene perfectly, showing you the details of the strange building, with the lady on the billboard right up to the El Rancho sign. The reason why this is such a great shot is because of the weather that accompanies it. The fierce storm, in literary sense, uses a pathetic fallacy to connote the upcoming scenes as dark and terrifying. The crane up movement takes you into the storm as such, as you're being raised into the atmosphere, where you see dark clouds, rain and thunder, and also lightning. This establishes the scene in a unique way, as the hotel isn't just where the ordinary scenes are going to take place, it's where dark scenes are ahead and leaves the viewer on edge of their seat to find out what will happen. This is also so good to remember, as in trailers you need to establish the location, and this has really inspired me because I know that I can combine the typical establishing shots with other camera angles and movements, which is so good to remember for when I come to finally film my trailer.
see you later. Thanks.
What are you doing? You leaving your car?
Watches the car for me. It's easier than leaving it at a garage and waiting. It's a lot quicker that way. You know what I mean? Huh? I like going this way, better than waiting in line. How you doing? Good, good. What's up? Here you go. How you doing, Gino? How are you? Good, good. Hey, good. Every time I come here, every time you two. Would you work?
The reason why I love this shot is usually in TV series there will be a lot of clips where you won't know if a day or two has passed, but this really sets the scene as you see an entire day pass for a matter of seconds, showing you rundown locations of Albuquerque, all the way to Walt and Jesse's mobile meth lab, and then to the sun setting, darkness of nighttime, and then the sun rising. This shows how a day has passed, but also leaves you wondering what's happened to all the characters in the space of a day that has just passed, and it will all be found out in the scenes ahead. What I love about this is how hardly any films or TV shows do this, and a simple time lapse that can be taken by an iPhone anywhere can take my trailer from a conventional trailer to a trailer that uses a non-conventional technique to draw the attention from the viewers and also engage the audience into the scenes that happen because it establishes the shots in such a unique way in a matter of seconds, showing how a day or two has passed. And this is such a great thing to do for my trailer because I can use any location or even several locations to set the scene in the place where I want my film to be set. The reason why I love this shot is usually in TV series there will be a lot of clips where you won't know if a day or two has passed, but this really sets the scene as you see an entire day pass for a matter of seconds, showing you rundown locations of Albuquerque, all the way to Walt and Jesse's mobile meth lab, and then to the sun setting, darkness of nighttime, and then the sun rising. This shows how a day has passed, but also leaves you wondering what's happened to all the characters in the space of a day that has just passed, and it will all be found out in the scenes ahead. What I love about this is how hardly any films or TV shows do this, and a simple time lapse that can be taken by an iPhone anywhere can take my trailer from a conventional trailer to a trailer that uses a non-conventional technique to draw the attention from the viewers and also engage the audience into the scenes that happen because it establishes the shots in such a unique way in a matter of seconds, showing how a day or two has passed. And this is such a great thing to do for my trailer because I can use any location or even several locations to set the scene in the place where I want my film to be set.
Water, splash water, tap water, from some natural place to here. Nice, clean tap water.
Shot is so confusing as you wonder why there is no camera shown, but although looking at it, it creates a sense of realism. It's almost as if it isn't a film, it's just an average guy's experiencing problems. The man clearly has a problem and the sense of fear that you get when watching it when he talks, and this is echoed along with the intense breathing as he dips to black when he closes his eyes and washes his face with water. This is so realistic as the invisible camera trick is done by placing two clips over each other and editing them heavily to make it look real. This is a very Hollywood effect, but I've still taken inspiration from the dips to black when the characters close their eyes, and this is something that I can easily do by using the fade to black editing to transition when in Premiere Pro. This is extremely effective, as showing these natural occurrences make it even more gripping as it seems more realistic, as short pauses in the action build up tension, and using this in trailer I can quickly cut to other scenes when there is a contrast between distress and ordinary basic life. I won't be using the invisible camera technique, but it can still inspire me even if it hasn't used movements like blinking or splashing your face with water. These simple activities can create my trailer and make it even more realistic and believable for the audience. And I think that using just ordinary movements like splashing your face with water is so great for a camera, because obviously you're not going to believe that it's actually a real character, but it still adds more realism, which is so important for many crime films.
Let's go, please. Come on.
This scene has used so many long shots and close-ups, but it's the red coat of the little girl that stands out to Oskar Schindler and the audience due to the black and white colour grading. Long shots and pans are used to show many characters, and this scene does in The Masses, as it tracks a girl with lots of medium and long shots while she's in lots of crowd of adults, while showing the firing squads that have been sent into Poland at the exact same time. The reason why I chose this camera shot is because of the clip that is shown, and it also shows the expressions on Schindler's face as he sees the girl. And it's not particularly a camera shot, it's camera shots that have been collected up and create such a great effect. And the red coat is used to represent the Jews' pain and suffering throughout this devastating period. The way the camera goes from Schindler's face to the little girl shows the distance between the two characters. One's safe and the other one is not. And the camera shows the events that took place in Poland in the most realistic way. This shot isn't the most exciting, but the sheer brilliance from Steven Spielberg to purposely use black and white colour grading to represent the technology of the times, but also how to show the little girl as the one who stood out to Oskar Schindler, even in the mass numbers of adults in the long shots that are shown, shows realism, because in the actual true story, this is very true, even though it might not happen in the same way, because obviously you wouldn't see her red coat shining from the grey coats that usually all the adults are wearing. But it's so great to create that effect, and it's also focusing the story on two characters instead of the masses that the girl was covered by. Thank you for watching my research into advanced cinematic camera techniques. This research has created so many ideas in my head, and ideas that I can develop for shot creations, and I hope you see my final results in my trailer. Thank you for watching.